Is that camera or no?
No, we'll leave it open because he's late.
All right.
You guys are pretty much on there. So just let me run the beginning. And we're good to go. Oh shit. I didn't put on the microphones. So I'm going to stare at you for a second. Don't talk yet. Give me a quick second.
It's our first rodeo, huh?
Just have to have Robert push the button. All right, everybody, we're here. We're live on a special Wednesday edition of Full Contact Fanatics. As you can see, sitting directamente to my left, Dondo himself. Over here to my right was supposed to be John Dello, but he just happens to be on the late freight today. Special Wednesday edition because we've got a lot to talk to him about because he's got a lot of things going on. Not only does he have the Orange County Championship Wrestling cage match coming up, but he also has one of his fighters fighting at King of the Cage. So a lot to talk about, but he's not here yet, so we're going to continue on for here until he gets here. Hopefully the door's open so he doesn't have to knock to come in. So real quick before we get going, don't forget you can check us out here every Monday from 8 till usually we go about 9:15. Wednesday we have special shows when we got something really important, we got some pretty good feedback from the last Wednesday show. So if we have something that's really, really important or really happening, we'll do a Wednesday show. Make sure we get the information out there because there's so much going on, not only in the world of mixed martial arts, but in the pro wrestling and stuff like that. So we're more than happy if somebody really needs to get something out there, especially somebody like Delo, to get a Wednesday show going. Of course, we got Robert taking us in and out with all this. Wouldn't be possible without him. And don't forget, you can go to onthemat.com, check out all the latest information, everything that they have over there. Hopefully we can get some of this stuff over there soon onto that website, as well as myluckygi.com. Make sure you check that out. Also, Grappler's Quest, I talked to message back and forth with Brian Simmons. He's got some stuff coming up. Hopefully he wants to do 2 shows on the West Coast and 2 on the East Coast this year. So we definitely look forward to him. He's been out of the game for a minute because he's trying to reset, refocus, and get everything going. But Grappler's Quest at one time was I would say major, right?
Yeah, it was one of the big events.
Yeah, and it's pretty well put on. I mean, they do
Grappler's Quest, Naga.
Yeah, they get quite a few people there, and then he's had some pretty good super fights back in the day too. So we definitely look forward to that. So as we wait for our special guest to come on in, have him come on in, and we're waiting for him. Go ahead and come on in, John. Sit down right here. We're waiting for you. There he comes, everybody.
He said 8:30.
We know you took the bus over. It's okay.
I'll show you the
No
text.
big deal. You're here. Go ahead and jump on that mic right there.
You said we go live at 8:30. Hello.
He's got fat thumbs and he's texting with him.
Because you know what? He might be right. Let me see. John Della
What
is that? What does that green one say right there?
Oh shit! It says we go live at 8 p.m. I'm sorry.
So
my
he comes in here like a house of fire.
Sorry. Hey, and look at what I'm doing. I'm turning my phone off. Okay, so that no one calls me in the middle of the podcast.
Who calls people every time they have a podcast?
I don't know. Just probably someone to see if your phone is on.
Anyways,
what are we talking about?
Now that we're back, we're live. We just
I want to take this time to apologize to everyone out there in podcast land for my tardiness. I was certain he said 8:30, and he even called to double check, and I just completely screwed the pooch on that one. My apologies.
It's cool because we just started the opening and stuff like that, so no big deal. So real quick, before we get going, as you can see, John Dello is here. He's sitting on my right. We're going to do a little bit of news real quick before we get going. Then we want to talk to John about, we had Elijah in here on Monday.
Yeah.
You see some people were writing.
The whole thing. He's
people were writing saying that is the most I've ever heard Elijah talk in the 20 plus years that I've known him. So he's starting to get there. So I want to talk about that too because I got to see him train on Sunday and got the big upcoming fight at King of the Cage. Want to talk about that. Then of course we want to talk about Cage Wars or Cage Match for Orange County Championship Wrestling. But want to do some news first real quick, and there's nobody better to give their opinion than JD over here. So real quick, first one, man, I've been inundated with people asking, like I know Rhonda or whatever, I have no idea, but she has officially signed her WWE contract, which means she's probably either going to come out in Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. John, okay, you hear him over there? We can just say yes or no if you heard about Rhonda.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yes. What are my own?
Robert,
a little less off the mic. You're blowing Robert's eardrums out.
Well, maybe it's.
Yeah.
But he does.
How about now?
Okay, saliva all over it.
No, it's tight. Woo, it's real tight.
Maybe it's too tight.
Story of my life.
Oh, good. So we talked about it on this show. You know, I was really hoping that Ronda would just at least come back and have one more real fight, MMA fight in the UFC before she went on and retired and rode off into the sunset. I think the consensus was no, let her go. She's done enough for the sport.
Well, she can get hurt again, right? And she got pretty severely hurt. She didn't eat for 6 months.
Yeah.
So you want to do that again?
Well, but I just
You
think
didn't
that
eat for 6 months?
Yeah.
well, she got
Hit a straw.
she got pretty racked up
Broke
on
her
the
jaw
after-
Oh,
pretty
because her
bad.
jaw was broken.
yeah.
That's right.
So, well, give us your opinion on that. I think she just should have had one more fight just to solidify her mark in
Well,
women's
you
history.
certainly
'Cause-
hope that people have enough heart to finish what they'd started.
Yeah, but you know,
she was.
and you know how people are. They're gonna say, "Oh, she went out and got beat up. That's why she quit." But I think
They got in her head, bro.
Yeah, they kind of figured out her style. She lost those. I think Holly Holm was all wrong for her. You know, and she wasn't expecting it, and then she just tried to come out like a buzzsaw against Amanda Nunes and ran into some punches.
Yeah.
You know, so I think maybe if she would have went back to what got her to the promised land, you know, maybe her judo background and try to close the distance and get the people down and had one more win before she retired, I think that would have
But
been
she
it.
isn't
Instead of just-
officially retired. She's just working on
Well,
something.
I mean,
I sent her my number, and I was dead serious about it. I was like, hey, you know what? We can get you back to where you are. That is the most talented fighter I have ever seen,
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. And people say, oh, John thinks he's big enough to train Ronda Rousey. You know what? I know enough to tell her not to stand in there and throw. I mean, if I was coaching Holly Holm against Ronda Rousey, the last thing I would say, okay, here's what we're going to do, Holly. You're going up against Ronda Rousey. You're going to go there, you're going to grab her, you're going to put her on the ground, you're going to work till your arm lock, and then you're going to arm lock Ronda Rousey. And she would have looked at me, she would have said,
Yeah, right.
Go piss up a rope,
Yeah,
right?
see you later.
And to tell Ronda Rousey, hey, stand in there and bang with a multiple-time boxing champion, a multiple-time kickboxing champion, a very competent MMA fighter like Holly Holm, you know.
and just was all wrong for her. Seems like she was so long, kept her at a distance, and when she come in, she'd sidestep, and then boom, you know, she even fell to a knee.
She had footwork
slipping,
that Ronda doesn't have.
Well,
slipping
everybody
past her.
loses. Everybody finds,
Yeah.
you know, everybody hits that trump card once in a while. I mean, Muhammad Ali got beat by Joe Frazier, came back and beat him twice.
George St. Pierre got
Yeah.
beat by Matt Hughes
Matt-
and Matt Serra.
No, Matt Serra, yeah.
and came back and got
cracked
it.
him, yeah.
Big
And
time.
everybody, you know, it happens. I mean, I don't want to say on any given night, but on some given nights, even the best meet their foil. Unfortunately,
But can we all agree that that it's not like she's lost anything? She's still got the talent, you know, to come back for one more fight, right?
Yeah, more than
No.
that. She's young, right?
she has plenty. She has the talent to fight forever.
Yeah.
It's in here. She's done. I mean, she can't. Okay, I think what may have happened. All right, remember she was going the Hollywood road too. She was going to be the female star of the female Roadhouse or something like that.
Right.
She was going to be the bouncer, and the mystique behind her was, hey, she could beat dudes, right? She's so good she could beat dudes, and there are dudes she could beat. Maybe not in the UFC,
Right.
But average dudes on the street and
Sure.
whatever. Okay, when they saw her get beat not once but twice by a woman, that window closed for her. And as she may have, and I'm not saying that I know this, but just common sense would say, okay, she had a swollen face, a broken jaw. Her looks were severely compromised for those months that she was out, right?
Right.
How many starring roles in all these vehicles dried up while she was
Yeah,
gone?
she might have
And
lost
in
a
her
few.
head, she's thinking to herself, my whole career could end. This huge empire that I have can end with just one single fight to anyone, you know, kick to the face, a broken jaw, you know. And so she has a right to walk away on
Yeah.
whatever terms or come back on whatever terms.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely nothing to prove. I mean, she brought it to the forefront, and you can't blame anybody for, you know, I'm sure WWE has approached her with a very hefty sized contract, so
and
you
that's another thing.
you can't blame somebody
Let me
for
tell you
going and doing
something.
that.
What was it? I guess it's close to 20 years ago. The biggest names in the Ultimate Fighting Championship were Dan Severn, Tank Abbott, Ken Shamrock, and Hoist Gracie.
Right.
Of those four men that I just named, only one did not sign a professional wrestling contract with either WCW or WWF.
Which was Hoist.
Right?
Yeah.
That was Hoist. Tank Abbott signed a multi-million-dollar deal with WCW.
yeah.
And Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock went to the WWF at the time, WWE now. But so, you know, and someone said, what does that tell you about the UFC? That there's no money in it, you know, when you know, you have two belt holders and one belt contender, right? So there's, you know, and if it was okay for Dan Severn, it should be okay for pretty much anybody, you know.
Yeah.
And true, they came in after a pro wrestling background to fight, and then went back to the pro wrestling.
Right.
There's nothing wrong. This is me talking, the guy who runs a pro wrestling promotion.
Yeah, you can't blame him though, because that's the top of the line. That's why everybody's in line to get to WWE.
And there's people who say, "Oh, well, you're doing that fake stuff." Well,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. Don't call pro wrestling fake when you haven't missed an episode of The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, or you have a porn collection on your computer that takes up I don't know how many gigabytes, right?
Right.
It's entertainment, right? It's physical. It's live entertainment. It's live improvisational theater, whatever you want to call it, right? It's sports entertainment.
I don't know if she can make that transition. I think
I
she's
don't
too
think
used
she can,
to.
and I don't think she will.
Yeah, I think she's just too used to closing that disc and throwing people on their head. Go ahead, Robert.
Christina Nicole, she says
Hi, Christina Nicole.
Rhonda is mentally retired and she's scared.
Mentally retired. Yeah, that's a real good way of putting it. That's excellent. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, she might be out of that mode.
Write that down.
Out of that
Mentally
killer
retired.
mode.
And this guy who said he's the coolest person on earth, Joey. Joey
the bullshit?
He said you're the best.
Yeah. Well. Joy the Bull. Oh, why did you say that?
Well,
The
I gotta say,
Joe.
man, I just truly just would like to see her do one more fight. I know, she's gonna ride off into the sunset.
I
She's
like
with,
that.
She's with Travis now, stuff like that. So
She is mentally retired.
it remains to be seen. But hey, best of luck to her. We'll see what happens. I think she's gonna
If
be
you
on the
do
Royal
want to
Rumble.
fight again, Rhonda, give me a call. I'm not messing around.
Yeah,
I
for
know
sure.
how to. We can get you there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100. I just would like to see it, man.
At one time, she
awesome.
was the best fighter I'd ever seen.
Absolutely.
Gokor said the same thing.
Yeah, and when I did her
He
first.
literally said that to me and Robert. He said,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like her.
Yeah.
Well, I called her first fight when it was only my second gig at King of the Cage, and Gokor said, "Hey, man, watch this girl. She's really good." Next thing I know, boom, bang.
If my brother had listened to
it was
me, we
done.
would have had her on Long Beach Fight Night. But
Yeah.
of course, he went around me and did.
Well, anyways, it remains to be seen. Hopefully, good luck to her in the WWE. Now, one more thing that I wanted to pose to you before we continue on. We had a big discussion on Monday about weight cutting because Uriah Hall couldn't make weight on the last UFC, and I guess he had to go to the hospital or whatever. Now, we had Chris Crail on here too, who's one of the inspectors for the California State Athletic
I wish
Commission.
I'd have been here to bitch slap.
That's exactly why we didn't tell you. But is it Todd? What's his name? The head of the commission for
Foster?
Todd Foster.
No, it's Andy Foster.
Andy Foster. He recommended 3 people to move up in weight because he said one of them was Marlon Moraes and they were like weighing in at 135 pounds and coming in as high as 159 for the fight.
Okay.
So cutting so much weight.
That
Now,
happens.
the big question, and we took it around the horn, and the consensus pretty much seemed to be the same. It would behoove them to move up in weight, right, and not have to struggle so much. Give us your thoughts on that, because when we had Elijah in here, he's gonna fight at 145. He's like at 151 right now, or something like that.
6 pounds off.
Yeah, he doesn't have that much weight to cut, no problem. But if he's sitting at 165 or 170. It's a lot of weight to cut. So what do you tell him?
Well, I tell him, don't let people who don't fight influence you. No, and I'm not saying you guys. I'm saying is,
I see what you're saying.
what I'm saying is,
Like the commission.
yeah, well, like the commission, sure, and these other, and then I say fight specifically, right? MMA fight. All right, I'm not talking about boxing or wrestling because wrestling it's a different sport,
Right.
It's a different adventure. If you are cutting weight and then you eat before your wrestling match, right? No one's kicking you in the face. No one's elbowing you in the jaw, right? So okay, you lose the match, or maybe you get a muscle strain, right? Boxing, right? Your stamina isn't predicated on being able to fight on the ground or being able to work through those tie-ups. All right. So cutting weight, all these weight classes came because the UFC and the MMA community wanted to kowtow to the state athletic commissions who were incompetent at best, right? And so they adopted boxing's idea of middleweight, welterweight,
Right.
light heavyweight, right? So you're trying to put. You're trying to put windshield wipers on a bicycle, right? Or vice versa. You're trying to put those dangling, sparkling little handlebar things on your car. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the State Athletic Commission is full of people who've never fought. And they say, well, Andy Foster was a fighter. No, Andy Foster fought. All right, there's a difference. All right, he was not a fighter. If he had been, all right, he might have had a better idea of what was going on here.
Yeah, it'd be a different story.
So what do I think about? I think like it's best, it's healthiest to fight as close to your weight as you can.
Right.
Don't cut weight just because you're going to be a bigger guy. You're going to be weaker. You're going to do damage to yourself, right?
Yeah,
and you can't.
that was the consensus.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But You know, I mean, the state athletic commission comes in and says these are the weight categories. Don't cut weight. It's like, well, why did you give us weight categories then? You can have it from here. There should be 3 tops.
Right.
You know,
But
that's it.
what we're
Or
saying,
catch weight
like
all the time.
Kevin Gastelum didn't make weight, so finally Dana stepped in and said, "You're not going to fight at this weight anymore. If you can't fight at 185, we're not going to book you."
And that's good because that is the entity. That's
running Long Beach Fight Night. You know how that kills you. When they come in way over, and then they're arguing, they got to redo the contracts, and then sometimes they don't let them fight. You remember back then? Sometimes they're there till 8, 9 o'clock at night.
I had one guy who didn't show up to the weigh-ins. He had, they have that 2-hour window.
Yeah.
He showed up heavy. I waited for him for 2 hours. He showed up, and this was me fighting him. He showed up way overweight, in violation of the contract. Hours late, and then he cheated during our match. And he got disqualified, and he went on and on. So what I think is if you let, say, Long Beach Fight now, or you just said a minute ago, Dana White came in and told Kelvin Gaston this is how it's going to be. If you let the organization handle it themselves, if they say, okay, this is how it's going to be, we're not going to sign you at this other weight, that's fine. But you can't have the state telling you how to do it. You can't. Otherwise you get, well, like I said, you get part-timers. Like the guys who work for the state, because they only work on the weekends. Right. You get part-timers telling full-timers what to do. Yeah. Now, what line of work does it work that way? Where the part-timers come in and tell the full-timers how to do their job and how's it going to be?
Well, he said he just recommended it. He didn't say he was going to enforce anything or whatever. But that's just a big thing, with the weight cuts, and it makes a whole big controversy. But anyways, a bunch of stuff to talk about, but we got so much going on.
Too many weight classes.
Two more things I want to run by. Big Bellator fights coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
Henry Corrales against George Kanakarian. I think that's a good matchup, man. I think Henry's going to just do what he does. He's going to come in, close the distance, keep it tight, throw some hands, maybe get him up against the cage. I'm going to say I don't know if he's going to be able to maybe knock him out, but I'm going to say he's going to go 3-round unanimous. What do you think on that fight? Well, let's go to Dondo first. Okay. He's been chomping at the bit over here.
Nah, it's quite all right. I like listening to the boss talk. There's no arguing with that man. So
sure, you could argue. You'd be wrong, but you could argue.
Exactly. There's no right. But Henry's going to throw hard and more than likely just go the distance. I'd like to see him knock someone out, but let's not rely just on that, Henry. You got all kind of stuff that you're talented and you've developed, and let's take him to the ground.
When you say there's a guy who fought and there's fighters,
that's right.
We talk about Henry's fight because we're talking about that. It was a Long Beach Fight Night. He weighed in. His opponent weighed in like
a couple pounds heavy.
And the commission says, okay, you got to set up to the side, and then they come back and Henry goes, well, what's the problem? He goes, well, you guys like 4 pounds heavy. He goes, I don't give a shit. Let's fight. And they go, all right. That was it.
Yeah, it was simple. Yeah, and that's really like you said, those guys who fight and guys who are fighters, and nothing really bothered me more about the fight game than when it switched to, okay, which guy are you fighting? I'm fighting that guy. Okay. All right, let's go. Good. Versus, wait, is he on weight? Yeah. Wait, he's 2 pounds heavy. No, I can't fight him. Run it off.
If not, no fight.
Yeah, and
we saw that a lot too at Long Beach Fight Night.
And and there's always older guys from the older saying, back in my day it was better because we didn't have. But the reality is, if you got to make up your mind, is it a sport or is it a fight? You can't have both. Athletes want to be fighters and fighters want to be athletes.
Right.
So,
but to see, this is what I'm talking. This is why when we have the show, and people just see the finished product. They don't see Jason Delos staying till midnight, bringing the trailer to spend the night because he's got so much to do for the fight, or us being there like at 2 in the afternoon and staying till 8, 9 o'clock just trying to get everything set and getting everything together. It takes a lot to put the fights on. And they were good fights, weren't they? Yeah, and the neat thing about that was we had the wherewithal to keep it in a ring. Right? So that when you went to a live, you could actually see the action. When you look in a cage, and I'm not putting down anyone else's, there will always be at least 2 points of obstructed view in a cage. At least 2, sometimes 4. No matter where the action takes place, there will be 2 parts of the arena that cannot see what's going on. And then if they go to the ground against it, half the place can't see it, right? So they're looking at the screen, and that defeats the purpose of going to a live event. Judges sometimes are looking at the screen, but when we had it in the ring, it was everyone could see from every level. I'm laughing because it was fight day. We're there. I'm getting my cards together. John's running around all over the place getting the guys their gloves and stuff. And I don't remember his name. It's the African American man that works for the California State. Larry. Oh man, I used to fight with that guy all the time. He's pulling the ropes and going, no, this is not going to work. And this is John. He's talking about the ropes. He's saying they're not tight. And he goes, what? Tell him to go to hell. Where's that guy?
Yeah, Larry was lost.
And then he just all right, and then he just left him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was how many times did you have to go, John? John, take it easy, man. Take it easy. I don't got time for that shit.
Let me tell you something. All right. I fought the state on everything, right? Because they would try. I watched what they've done to other fighters and other fight promoters. They would like nickel and dime them to death, and they would nitpick them to death to where they couldn't put on a show. The show would get delayed. The show would look all haphazard, not because the guys didn't know what they were doing, but because the state was getting in the way, and what they called, and this is a quote. This is not me. Pencil fucking these guys, right? Oh, look, this, and this. I'm like, so I fought with them on everything to where they would just leave us alone. After a while, my brother would say, my brother caught on too. He'd be like, oh, that's not something that really matters. Go talk to John about that, right?
Yeah.
And then they would just leave us alone about it because they knew they had a fight on their hands.
Telling Cecil people, are you high?
Yeah.
Are you high right now?
Yeah.
But anyways, that's
So I think Henry's going to win that fight, and he's going to knock him out in the middle of the third round.
Wow.
I think that Henry will
like
wear
it.
him down. I know Carcanian. Is that how you say it?
Carcanian.
Carcanian. I know he's tough, and he comes.
Millennia.
Yeah, and Millennia will do anything they can to give their fighters an edge because they're so good
Yeah.
and they're so wrapped up in the game. But Henry is a
He's a different
throwback.
breed. He's a different breed,
He's like one of those guys who back in the time before time would have searched the earth looking for people to fight just because he wanted
don't worry
to see.
about weights and all that stuff. We're just here to fight.
Yeah.
But that's we talk a lot about that on the show too because we talk about I deal a lot with King of the Cage and Mike Lowe and the ones from Albuquerque and all the matchmakers. I said, but the ones that are best fights are the guys who used to fight and don't care, don't make it political. Because I remember clear as day, these two fighters are fighting. This guy was all buffed out and everything. I said, oh my God, he's going to kill this guy. And you go, you know what? This guy trains with Thomas Denny, and that's good training. I said, you just be prepared because that guy's going to whoop his ass. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And the dude went out there and just did damage. And I was looking at Johnny and he goes, see, it's not that I don't know. I know who can fight and who can't or whatever. So you never had bias against, well, I'm not going to bring these guys from this gym. And then same thing with Millennia. You go, you know what? That's why. Or the guys from Temecula, Team Quest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he'd go, you know what? I brought this guy because this guy can fight. He's gonna and it was like Tarek Safadine.
Yeah.
And people like
Tarek
that.
Safadine was good.
Long Beach
Is he still fighting?
He's
I
still
went to those
fighting.
fights.
Yeah. He was a really cool guy, and that was a neat because he fought for us. It was his first time in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
And after his fight, he'd won, and no one knew who Tarek Safadine was. And he goes, "I just went on the. You remember you interviewed.
Yeah.
I want to tell everyone thank you for being so welcoming for my first fight in the U.S." And everyone goes, "First fight?" Yeah. Everyone was like really excited for it. It was really cool.
Yeah.
He was a cool guy.
So it makes a difference when you worry more about the show than political correctness or whatever. Or I don't like this team, so I'm not going to bring them over. Didn't matter. That's what made it what it was because the fight.
To be fair, there are some teams that are really hard to work with. Yeah.
So real quick before we get on to talking about Elijah, Chad George is going to fight James Barnes. Chad George, I think he got railroaded because he had a good, what was the Von Flue choke or whatever. And then when we went to go talk to him, he said, you know what, they didn't bring me back because they told me straight to my face, your fights aren't exciting.
Yeah.
They're boring and it's ground.
It's a high-level grappler.
So he tried to make a I don't want to say comeback, but make it more
Who
exciting.
told him that?
Bellator. I think it was, but Rebney, Braun Rebney. It's not
Bjorn Rebney?
Bjorn Rebney.
Yeah.
It's the other guy now.
Okay, because that, you know what, that just shows a complete lack of respect for your business, right?
Right.
Can you picture? How about this? Can you picture Roger, the guy who runs the NFL, Roger Goodell, saying to
Tom Brady?
yeah, you know what, your games are boring. You know what, you guys, we're not gonna no, because you go with how it wins and how it goes.
Now, I'm not familiar.
I can't believe someone would tell him
I'm
that.
not too familiar with Mooka. But
Mooka Barnes, James, it should be Bucky, James Bucky Barnes, but no, he goes with Mooka. Mooka's a tough cat. I was there when he started training, trains with Tommy, my old out in the UFC gym, and he wrestled, I think, at Penn State. I want to say Penn State. Very talented, very tough, very committed. He had a bit of a setback with Antonio McKee Jr.
AJ McKee.
AJ McKee, yeah, and but other than that, he's been tearing through people. Now I know Chad George is good. He's a friend of yours, right, John?
Yeah, he's a friend of the show.
Yeah,
friend of the show. Okay, friend of the show. And I know he trains with Tracy Hess, who I got some good stories about Tracy Hess too. Not anything bad, but From the beginning,
Because
yeah.
it's been around as long as you have.
No, not as long as I have, but around is pretty close. I was there when he started. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because him and Brendan had that place across from the Long Beach Town Center.
Yeah. Well,
That
it goes
was
back.
years ago.
I was there when they met.
Like I have it on here. It was
It's years ago. But yeah, I would like to see that. My heart is gonna go with James Barnes, Muka, because I want him to win, and I know him real well.
And the best part is it's on Spike and it's free. We don't have to pay for it. So
Love that.
Definitely gonna be checking that out. But hey,
I don't have Spike. I have rabbit ears on my
You still got the rabbit ears
flat
on
screen.
the
Yeah,
VHF
you know,
channel or
it's hard to set it on top of the flat screen because it keeps falling off.
You got to put some tape.
He's got a black box from Robert,
But
but, I don't think
anyways-
it works.
But I don't have internet in my house. Yeah,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. For the people watching this, you're here. You're at Full Contact Fanatic Special Wednesday edition. We talked about that in the opening. You know, we're usually on Mondays, but every once in a while we'll do a Wednesday show just to get it out there. And we wanted to get Delo on here, not only to just talk about MMA, but he's got the big Orange County Championship Wrestling cage matches coming up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So make sure you check us out every Monday from 8 to 9:30. And also, don't forget Gym Crashers. You guys still have quite a few in the
Absolutely.
can, right?
Yep, they're coming out.
Yeah, so
What do we got coming out this week, Robert?
Make sure you check that out. Anything major?
Anaconda.
Anaconda
MMA,
Academy?
out in Gardena.
Wow.
Giovanni Varela.
Look at you guys.
Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Sambo.
Yeah. Now we had
Sorry, I know this isn't liquid, but it's hot in here.
I know it keeps dude, you should have been here Monday. Dude, we had Biohazard on the speed dial
We did.
because it was hot. And this I don't know
You
if he
kept
ate-
breaking wind.
I don't know if he ate liver and
did you
onions
know
and a
that?
glass of buttermilk or what, but I mean it was wicked. It was wicked.
Liver and onions
People were
and a
leaving.
glass of buttermilk.
People were
And a
leaving.
glass of buttermilk.
And then not only that, Robert, right? But he walks out. We tell him to get out. So he walks out, pulls his pants down, and splits his ass, and just direct air right into the thing. As,
you know.
as the show
keep 'em on their
producer,
toes around
you
here.
should have a handle on that, man.
I would have to agree.
Because that was hazardous working conditions. But go ahead, Robert.
That's like the world's largest Dutch oven.
There was one time
No, it's like crop dust
at,
to
our,
us.
at the dojo we were previously, like the end of the building,
Right.
F.
Where-
we were in F.
where the cage was all the way to the one end, right?
Yeah.
And Delo walks in. John farts in the cage on the far end.
Arredondo farts in the cage.
Arredondo, and Delo goes, John! He was in, like, just walked in the front door.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, like we talked about on Monday,
He threw open the back
It's a
door. real
CSI
quick.
signature
yeah, we're
type
gonna
thing.
we're gonna do a GoFundMe or something to get him a colonoscopy because there is something wrong.
I'm gonna need that.
seriously wrong with this
I'm
man.
gonna die from this, so you're not gonna be sorry. You make
Yeah,
fun of
something
me.
ain't right. Anyway, so
Clearly.
poor Elijah. He and the dude doesn't say anything. We're like, dude, you can't smell it. He's just like, just like
He was a wrestler. They're used to stinky.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, he's used to being in the van with
Yeah.
a lot of farts and bo. But
Ass
I
and
was
Fritos.
talking to him, in here, and I got to see him work on Sunday, and we talked a lot about because he fought at Future Legends out there in Vegas, and he even said, he goes, man, it was really something for me, going out there and see. And I said, yeah, you don't just sign a waiver and go. It's a whole thing. It's a production, and you got to take your pictures, and you got to do all this stuff. It's
Right.
really a big production. He said, yeah, he goes, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but it was just
He was
different.
overwhelmed.
Yeah, it was different. And I said, well, now it seems like you're more acclimated, because when I saw him train on Sunday, not just because it's him and his Delo fight, I saw a lot of difference. I mean, he just seemed more focused. He was staying in tight. He was throwing the jab and coming with the right, and just really looked like he made a lot of improvements. Now, is that just because once the fight was over, he got back in the gym and just really started working towards it, or what's the difference?
Well, he'd been with me almost a year, I think, at that
Yeah.
point. And I think, yeah, he was overwhelmed. And the problem with guys who don't say a lot, who aren't real verbal, right, is you can't tell what they're thinking.
And
You don't hear them. You don't hear them talking all nervous and like asking a lot of stupid questions. And blah, blah. You don't hear that. You don't see it. So you can't say calm down. You're like, you have to constantly ask them questions. And you have to be careful not to rile them. It's like, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah.
Are you nervous about the cage? Are you nervous about the crowd? Are you
Yeah.
nervous about your opponent? Because then they'll be like, no, should I believe? Should I be? Should I? And then
And they start thinking about it.
so it's real difficult. So I realized go ahead.
We said that on the air. I go, I saw John. We were talking about how late you guys got there because of all the problems that we're having.
Right.
And I go, hey, John, I go, how's your fighter management? He go, I don't know. And I go, what do you mean? He doesn't say anything.
doesn't say anything.
Because it was a 4-hour ride that seemed like 8 hours coming
Yeah,
up here.
but on the flip side about him not saying much, he's kind of a throwback. When you don't say a lot of things, you don't give a lot of excuses,
Yeah.
right? And he does it. He does it. You don't have a lot of complaints. You don't have a lot of excuses. You don't have a lot of reasons why you can't do something. He said to me, someone was filming his training, and they said to him, "Hey, don't worry, this is just so that we can watch it. We're not going to post it up anywhere." He goes, "I don't care. I don't have anything to hide." Right? And he's right. He's like, you know what? It's all good. Wash. Yeah. Now I find out that we're up against Todd Medina's kid. I didn't know that was Tanner Medina's kid.
Tanner Medina.
Has he? I don't know if he's fought before or
how many fights has he had? Do you remember, Robert?
Just
one? 1-0.
So they're both 1-1.
Is he pretty good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, real quick before we get into that, don't forget for the people listening to us and watching us, it's King of the Cage. It's Saturday, February 24th at the Citizens Bank Arena in Ontario, California. Elijah Perez will be fighting Tanner Medina. You can go to kingofthecage.com to check out all the information if you need to. But I made sure and say if you want to get some tickets or whatever, you can go to Delo Jiu-Jitsu and they can get them there too, right?
That's right. You can call me at 714-527-1845. 714-527-1845. I have tickets for the reserved and general admission. All right. We also, if you're in the area and don't feel like driving all the way out to the 909, we have a party bus for $20 per seat. You can make your way out there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Then, Don, you can drink some beers and not have to worry about driving back.
Well, that's right.
Do they stop for bathroom breaks? Because this dude needs to stop constantly.
Yeah, we might have to charge him, for the 2 seats around him as well.
Bring a Gatorade bottle.
Yeah, dude, that's a really enclosed environment. But and now we're moving over to Citizens Bank Arena. You're going from big to bigger because that in itself is a whole production. Dando and Miguel and I went to the last one. I was supposed to work it, but I didn't work it after all. But anyways,
you're very kind of getting us
killer seats. If Dean shows up, they say, "Look, if you want to hang, cool. If not, then I go home."
Right.
I got to drive back.
So hang out with us.
So yeah, this.
And pass out flyers for cage match too.
This last time I went ahead and hung, and watched some of the fights, and it's a pretty big deal. They got the big thing up on top.
Yeah.
And, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So
it's an arena type setting. So
it's huge. But I think he's a little. I mean, not that he doesn't know not what to expect. I think he knows a little bit more what it's like, and it's a big deal, and he's training. He's a little bit more focused, so I think he's going to do a lot better. Now, when we're talking about Tanner Medina, who's got some serious jiu-jitsu skills as well, we don't want to say, well, let's go into the game plan with this and that or whatever, because if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I'm thinking, to me, seeing how he's doing and stuff like that, I think if it does get to a clinch and it does go to the ground, it's not like he's completely lost.
He's not lost at all.
That's what I'm saying.
No, look, it will go where we want it to go, one way or another. I haven't seen Todd in years. I certainly haven't worked out with him in, oh my God, it's almost 20 years. But I know that his game has evolved, and clearly his son has probably picked up along the way, a lot of the stuff that Todd had, unlike my son who refused to learn any of it. Right. But that's another story. Yeah. All right, sorry. So anyway, we have no doubt that he will, not only be competitive, but work his way toward victory. Right. Anything can happen in a fight, right? But when they told me, oh, that's Todd Medina's kid, I go, oh, that's great. Todd's a good guy. Shouldn't, that's not going to deter us, right? You can put Manny Pacquiao's kid in with us, right? We'll fight Manny Pacquiao's kid. You could put. Anyone, anyway, the point is
Floyd Mayweather Jr.
The point is, Floyd Mayweather Jr. We're going to be ready. We're going to work what we need to work, and it's the fight will go how the fight goes. But we are certainly not going to look unprepared or be unprepared.
That's what we talked about too. Don't worry about what he's got going on. No. You worry about yourself and take it right to him. So I definitely look forward to that fight. Now. Is Elijah the only one we really have now that's fighting on a consistent basis, or what else do we have out of Delo?
Well, the fight culture's changed a little bit over the last couple of years. We had, the core fight group kind of grew up, had kids, and they've become teachers. Everyone from Thomas Kenny to Frank Park. Yeah. There are now working stiffs in this business, and it's interesting. Because there wasn't a business to work in really before the UFC gym started hiring people. You were either a fighter or you owned your own place.
Well, they should call the UFC gym in Corona Delo Jiu-Jitsu / UFC gym, because Frank Park, Spencer Spiker, Thomas Kenny, all those guys
Anthony,
all of them went on to work out.
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe I could get a few bucks from them, huh? That would be nice. Unfortunately, here's an interesting thing.
Residual, what's it called?
Residuals, right? Yeah. Here's something interesting that someone and I were talking about the other day. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, UFC gym is in Torrance, and one of the most successful, right? Yeah. Okay.
Have you been there?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've been there once. It's nice.
I went. I had a 3-month
smoothie
pass
at the
there.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
dude. Let me just tell you one story. And first of all,
Well,
everybody-
I was trying to. I was in the middle of
real
telling
quick,
one, but
everybody-
let's hear yours instead.
everybody walks around like this.
He's a mic hog.
Everybody's a fighter, and now I got rash guards. And what's up, man? Hey, call me. And all that. So I'm working out, and the dumbbells go all the way up to 200 pounds.
Yeah, but
So I
how
grabbed-
far do they go down?
I have like the 45s or something, but I'm in that section because that was the only bench that's open. So this guy walks over and he goes, "Hey, bro, you gonna use these 200 pounders?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, go ahead." And he goes, "Never mind." And he goes, "He needs 65 pounders." So the only thing that's good about that gym is it's open 24/7. So if you want to use the cage at 1 o'clock in the morning, there's nobody there. But I'm sorry, go ahead, continue.
I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Well, we're talking about how many
the
people
Ultimate
you got
Fighting
going. Yeah.
Championship was started by who?
Horion Gracie.
And Art Davey, the Gracie family,
yeah.
right? And back in the day before the first one came out, we were talking about what is this Ultimate Fighting going to be, right? We all were of the consensus that Horion and the guys there were trying to just build a Gracie in Action Video 3, right? And they were going to use the UFC as a vehicle to
And
build
geared toward that.
their school in Torrance bigger, so that they will have a monopoly on jiu-jitsu in the United States, and their Torrance school would be the big headquarters for jiu-jitsu, right? In Torrance. As it got bigger, so did the Torrance school. As it got bigger, and then they sold it, right? And now the Gracie school is smaller and getting smaller, right? And I don't know exactly what kind of financial situation they're in, but I found it ironic that the UFC gym, which comes from the Ultimate Fighting Championship, which was that basically Horion Gracie, in some Shakespearean sort of irony, has created what's going to be his school's own demise, or at least his own detriment.
Right.
So I thought that was a neat story.
Yeah,
it would have been nicer if I could have told it from beginning to end
it makes
without
sense.
the 200-pound barbell
Yeah, 'cause
sidebar.
It all coincides because knuckleheads sign up for anything, so that's why it's so successful over there. But
Right.
hey, definitely look forward to that. So real quick for the people listeners, don't forget, check it out. King of the Cage. It's the name of it is Energetic Pursuit.
Which
And luckily
it
it's
sounds
in
like
big
an
letters.
energy drink, right? Energetic Pursuit.
Pursuit. And it's Saturday, February 24th at the Citizens Bank Arena in Ontario. If you want to check out more information, just
Main
go to
event is-
kingofthecage.com.
The main event is Chelsea Falder,
Oh, and Cynthia Cerro.
And Cynthia
Oh,
Cerro.
man.
both beautiful and bad.
Yeah,
Ruben Duran, who is he's been in the game a while now.
And Tim Sosa, I've seen. I did a couple of fights in Albuquerque, and he can go. Dude can go.
Good, that's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, but definitely. So we'll all be there. We're definitely going to go down and check that out. So make sure you check it out. Now, got to continue on. It was
Let me just apologize again for thinking it was 8:30 rather than 8. I'm a stickler for promptness, and God,
now,
I feel really stupid.
We've talked about this before. Why anybody would want to get into the pro wrestling business, putting on a show, is beyond me. After what he's been through with Long Beach Fight Night,
I can only imagine.
Now he's devoted. Now what happened was this is what I think happened. Delo decided, look, man, I want to put a few shows on or whatever, and it kind of grew. I don't know if it grew more than you thought it was going to grow or whatever, but it's actually out there now. People are actually, like, even the other show is starting to get a lot more viewers and stuff. The other radio show that they do here on Tuesdays is starting to get a lot more viewers, and it's starting to grow big time. Mm-hmm. Now, when we first started over at 716, but real quick before we continue on with that, Orange County Championship Wrestling cage match is going to be Saturday, the 27th of January. It's going to be at the American Legion Post 716 in Los Alamitos, so they can go to.
He's got something in his bag of tricks.
He's like Gallagher. He just starts pulling stuff out of everywhere, man. It's going to be a watermelon
like
next.
Felix the cat.
This is the better one because it has my face on it.
Yeah, so if you want to check it out, it's Saturday the 27th in Los Alamitos, which already, I think that's what I'm talking about. That has a following there at 716 because we haven't done as many shows at 555 in Westminster. Is there a particular reason? Or?
Well, the people at 716 are really helpful. They really get excited for us being there. And they'll talk amongst themselves. They'll pass out the flyers themselves. They sell tickets from behind the bar. The bartender will tack it up. Yeah, they'll talk it up and everything. And
those vets go, hey, when's that wrestling coming back?
Exactly.
Again?
They're like, hey, we got tickets, and then they'll challenge each other to see who can bring more people, who can buy more tickets. They're really cool people there. And at 555, they give us a good deal on the place.
Yeah. And that's
about it.
That's I don't want to say nicer venue, but it's just the way you can get dressed. There's a lot of room there compared to 716 or whatever. So, but I got to tell you, we're sitting around the table talking, and Jessica and I think, are you ever going to bring back that 6-sided ring? I like that 6-sided ring.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who owns it is really a nice guy too.
Yeah, and we've had some feedback where people go, that was pretty cool because it's different. You know what I mean? It was really different.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, and you wrestled in it, so
I
how
did.
was it for you?
It was a very interesting match.
it's a
Yeah,
little-
now that you
it's a
mention
little
it.
well, don't get crazy, but
Yeah.
it was just a little bit different wrestling in that ring.
Well, you know, movement is different for
True.
me these days. Frankly, you know,
movement for me too.
I wanted to buy the ring.
At the time?
Yeah, we'll use it again probably within the year.
Yeah, because you can even market that, and you know when we do the advertising and stuff, you know, in the 6-sided ring or
Right.
whatever. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it would be even better if we could bring it more towards the middle and being more towards
Against
the
the
wall.
wall.
So
Well, we
kinda
won't
like
have-
Neil Diamond in the round.
Right. We
You know
won't
what I'm
have
saying?
that. We won't have that problem with the TV people being there again. The TV
Yeah,
people
so
were.
but we look forward to that.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's go through some of the matches now. Big rematch again with
All right. Once again,
Go
this
for
is
it.
cage match 2 inside the steel cage, right?
every match inside the cage.
Not an MMA cage.
No.
No. This is
In
a
the steel cage.
Steel
a la
cage.
Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair. buddy.
Magnum TA and
Nikita Koloff,
Tully Blanchard. Yeah.
the big stuff like that. And you know, we talk a lot about it too when we're around the table. Jessica and Oscar and I, and we talk about it's a lot different when you're in the cage because now that cage is right up on the ropes.
Right.
So if you step just wrong, bam, you're going right into that cage.
Right.
It's a lot different. So everybody comes up to me and tells me the same thing. Why does Othello not have the belt? And I said, you know what? Rudy just somehow finds a way to win.
Sure.
You know, they say, man, well, he should have. I go, well, look, man, you know, he just finds a way to win. So now it's in the cage.
Right.
Ain't gonna be going nowhere. You got unless you, and even if you try to get out, especially Othello,
Yeah.
there's only about this much space
Between the ceiling and the- yeah,
cage.
that's
so there's
true.
really no. It's almost
head.
yeah.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's almost like a
That's
hell in a cell
huge.
because it's so close. So,
It is.
So it's for the belt. Give us your thoughts on that
Sure.
match. I think Othello's finally had enough. As you can see, he's been running in on different people's matches and stuff. He actually came down all the way from where he lives to confront Rudy back in Delo Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know, you weren't there because
He grabbed him by the neck and lifted him
and
against the
Shriner
wall.
had to get him off. or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, hey, Othello, you know, I don't know what it is. I've had no problem dealing with Othello. You know, he's affable, he's friendly to the fans, but something about Rudy just sets him off, right? He's not. He's like a different person, and on the night of the matches, I'm like, oh my God, this is not the same guy that brought his kid, that
Yeah.
was nice to the kids that were at my dojo when he came to pick up the stuff. He's a different animal. It's kind of like, okay, it's the only way I could describe it, and Robert will get it, and you'll get it, and you'll understand too, is like, do you remember how sweet your wife was before you married her?
No.
Yeah, okay, and then so then boom,
Sister.
ring goes on the finger, and it's a different
Yeah.
person altogether. Well, that's kind of like what happens with Othello.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy, affable. Boom, the night of the matches, he's a real.
Yeah,
He's
and
Othello.
You'll be in the back. Well, hey, what's in there? Go, oh, don't talk to me right now. And,
No.
"Oh, okay, sorry. Or like it's true, like you say, when you first get married or with somebody, you're walking on the strand or something. It's like, come on, honey, I know you're slow or whatever. Just come on, hold my hand. And now, after a few years, it's like, come on, man, you have your knee braces on. I told you to put your knee braces on.
Yeah.
Whatever. Go ahead, Robert. You want to jump in on that? You got your knee braces on?
My wife is still nice.
Me too, honey. This all just for show.
What he's saying is his wife hasn't changed a bit. Is that what you're saying?
No doubt.
She's nicest to me, of course.
Yeah, so we definitely look forward to that. Now, this is the question I have for you. The Raza, I got him to the forefront, man. I got him, to the title. I talk to him all the time, and especially what's his name? The Puerto Rican kid. I forgot his name now.
Freddie Flores.
Freddie Flores. We talked a lot, man. I said, well, look, if we do this, man, you're gonna get the shot and blah blah blah. All right, cool. So they get this, and then they freaking turn on me. And I'm like, what the, what is that or whatever? But they won't talk to me though. I see them or whatever. They just walk right past me. So I'm like, all right, cool. No problem. We'll go ahead. So you got them booked against the Felines. So, and that's for the belts, right?
Yes.
Okay, so give us your thoughts on that
OCCW
match
tag
because
team belts.
honestly, I think they're going to run right through the Felines. I mean, the Felines are good workers or whatever, but I have made a couple of killers here. I think they're going to go right through the Felines. Give us your thoughts on that match. As much as I can't stand what they did or whatever, I still think the Felines, they're going to be too much for them.
Well, I'm not going to book a match that isn't competitive. I'll tell you that right now.
True.
I think, and I used to say this at Long Beach Fight Night, and I'll say it here at Cage Match. I'll say it at OCCW. I will tell you, La Raza, the same thing I told the Felines. Your opponents have a good chance of beating you. you have a good chance of beating your opponents.
Right.
Period. It's as evenly matched as I can get. You know, the felines, they're not as big and strong, but they're quick, and they've got stamina for days, right? They have a way of communicating with each other that I don't quite understand.
Right.
And it goes beyond speaking two languages like La Raza does.
Yeah.
Well, like Freddie Flores does. I don't know what language Vega speaks, but I know he doesn't understand any. So, so there's that. And they're tough. They're rough. They're ready. And don't count the felines out, even though La Raza is tough and real seasoned and really coming into their own right now.
So many people like those felines. My nephew, who I'm his uncle, and all he talks about is the felines. And he walks around going, meow, meow, meow. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Man? Or whatever. So they do have a
That's
pretty
a
good
cute
little
kid, by
following
the way,
or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's in the genes. But anyways, we
Those
look
are
forward
big
to that
genes.
match, checking that out. Now, you know, it's funny because I hadn't talked to Max Ammo before, but I talked to him at the last show that was at the dojo. And we're talking about because he works out at Venice Beach and he lives out there, living the lifestyle that I would like to live out there, going to the gym, working out there. And for some reason, I guess he's got a history with Freddie Helmuth or whatever. And for some reason, he was like, yeah, this dude's going down, man. And I was like,
yeah, there's some like
I didn't know
unfinished
there was
business. I didn't know.
underlying stuff.
Before I signed that match, he just, you know, comes to me and says, hey, I want to wrestle Freddie Helmuth.
Yeah.
I go, oh, you know what? We have an opening. Freddie has. Okay. And he goes and beats him to death with a free.
Yeah.
I guess back at one of those light bulb federations, right? They, you know, when you go through the fluorescent light bulbs and then you burn each other with lighter
bulb
fluid.
federation. You mean an extreme federation?
Whatever
Yes.
it's called. I don't know. It's hardcore,
Yes.
extreme. It's called something different
Yeah.
every few years. I guess they busted each other open pretty
Yeah,
bad. It was a
big time.
bloody mess. So hopefully it
You
won't come
playing
down to
around
that.
with stuff like that, that's what's going to happen.
Well, yeah.
So something must have made him mad or whatever, and he's coming for blood.
Yeah, he
again.
hasn't buried the hatchet,
And-
or at least.
Yeah, and when you're in the cage, there's no running. You
No.
ain't getting out there. Now, the match that I'm looking forward to the most is King Fabiano against Sexy Chino. Now,
I'm kind of looking forward
dude,
to that.
he stepped up to the plate, man. I'm telling Delo, hey, man, you know, since the
It's Malice.
Raza's
We're
going
talking
up against
Raza.
somebody else, blah, 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 whatever. You know, what about me or whatever? And he goes, well, you know, Sexy Chino stepped up to the plate, man, said he's totally down to wrestle whoever. So I said, you know, we'll put you in there with King. He said, okay, let's do it. So that's why I said in my promo, which they cut out, by the way, hey,
Who
man,
did?
the Bully Zone. Or
They
whatever.
cut
I
out your
shot them-
promo?
No, they cut some things out of the promo.
Oh, they
cut
edited it.
Yes, it was edited. Good word for it.
Did you kick him in the
But-
nuts? Maybe they cut that part out
but
of
this
it. No?
This is what I said. I said, hey, man, Sexy Chino might not make it because I wanted the Raza. It didn't matter which tag team partner because I got some people in the works. But unfortunately, they're unable to get over into the country at this precise moment.
Well,
Thank
you know, that wall's
Donald
getting
Trump.
higher, so
But-
you just.
And it's, man, it's a
Are they
hassle.
stuck in some
Dude,
shithole?
You used to be able to meet them at the border, bring them over, pay them, and take them right back, no problem. Now it's
Now they don't wanna leave?
Yeah, you got to have paperwork and all this crap. But anyways, so you know, you look at Sexy Chino and he doesn't look like much, but like I said in my promo, speaking specifically to the Raza or whoever, he may not make it through that match, but he's got more heart and he's got more guts than any of those dudes are ever going to have because that dude will wrestle anybody and he will come to wrestle. So I feel bad for him because he's going to catch a beating, but he stepped up to the plate, so I look forward to meeting him in the cage. So that's one of the matches right there. So make sure you come check it out. Saturday, the 27th at 7:16. Now, let's talk about you. You know,
Yeah, what about Malice in Chains?
It's funny because Malice all the time
Malice in Chains.
I'm talking to him and he's like, man, you know, I had enough, you know, and I got so much to do. I don't know. And then the next thing he goes, you know what? Tony Reyes thinks that he's cool going through tables and all that. I'm gonna show him what a real beating is. So I'm like, dude, I thought you know, once in a while you got to take the bull by the horns and show people what's up. So is that what I mean? What happened to make him bring you back into the cage? Because when I talked to you, like, you know, I got so much to do. I don't know if I'm gonna. And now it's like, no, you know what? This is it. It's on. Because he screwed you on the last one.
Well-
Handcuffs and all kinds of junk.
I happen to remember
Ankle cuffs.
it was someone else who handcuffed me to the bottom rope. I don't know his name, but it sounds like Fabi.
I got to do what I got to do
You
when
gotta
people
have-
have money. Money talks. Go ahead.
So, yeah, it was a 2 out of 3 falls. I wound up submitting Vega with the double chicken wing in the second fall. Tony wound up getting rolled up in one fall, and then went through the final stipulation of the third fall was a table match, and Tony wound up going through, and I was like, you know what, it happens. You know, we got beat on this day in our dojo.
And he blamed you.
he got mad. He threw a Samoan drop at me and then calls me out. I go, hey, well, cage match is next. You know, if that's what you want to do. He says, I'm challenging you to a cage match with the Texas bull rope that he's never been beaten in. And I'm saying to myself, yeah, what a great idea. You know, and so it's Tony Reyes and Jonathan Malice. And let me just say this, right, from the bottom of my heart, right? I'm sorry this had to happen. And I'm sorry that you got so angry, and I'm sorry that we lost our tag match. I am not sorry about what I'm going to do to you, Tony Reyes.
Yeah, and Tony's always talking about that too. He goes, you know what? I'm tired. I've always had to do what Malice says, and he leads, and I can't lead the dance and all that. So now he's gonna see what I'm capable of doing, and I'm like, cool, man. Go ahead and do your thing. So definitely some heat. I mean, there's a lot of heat in all these matches. So real quick, go through what else we have left, because I know we got the first match is going to be Drew Masters against Voodoo Master. Is it the Battle of the Masters or?
Yeah, it's the Masters
do they
tournament.
Get a green jacket?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are two guys who were on their way up. They came through the Orange County Championship Wrestling School that we have there at the Dela O Jiu-Jitsu Training Center, and it's going to be their first singles match against each other.
Both of them have been working pretty hard, because
both of them working pretty hard.
Both of them there on Sundays.
One of them's real humble,
separate, but.
One of them's real humble and real friendly and real fun to be around.
And cocky.
And the other one is Voodoo Master. No. The other one, he's as tough as anybody. He's a good dude, and he's really grasped the idea of self-promotion,
right,
and pushing yourself in.
And it must be important, because I said, if you want to come down today, he's like, no, I'm going to go train.
Good.
Because
yeah.
I got the show's right around the corner.
And I'm happy to bring these guys along
in
the first. Okay, so we also have Mikey O'Shea and the Lord too.
Yes.
Right? Mikey O'Shea is nails in the steel cage.
Right.
If you remember his match with Azrael, unbelievable last year.
But they took it outside the cage.
Yeah, well, they started.
So we got to lock that door, man. Get him in there and lock it up.
All right, well, we're going to put Atu in there.
I saw beers flying.
It was awful.
I saw weenies.
You know how many freaking refunds I had to give for those meatball sandwiches that wound up on the floor?
He hit somebody, and the beer just went flying.
So let this be a disclaimer. We will, no refunds.
Yeah.
No refunds. We got Azrael against
isn't he going Guy Cool?
Guy Cool. Cool guy Cool. Yeah, we're waiting on that promo, Guy Cool. Thanks. So Azrael, you know, he's crazy. He sits at this desk all the time and goes absolutely batshit nuts.
And he's famous for saying, I want a cheeseburger, and I want a cheeseburger.
Yeah, he's crazy.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, but that's all I hear. It stays in my mind, because that's all I hear him saying on the show.
Quick reminder, the Dan Joseph El Mariachi Loco match has been scrubbed because Dan Joseph blew out his knee.
Yes, that's what I heard. So no opponent for Mariachi Loco?
Not yet. I'm going to talk with Mariachi and see what we can do to save that match, and I'll have an update soon.
Okay, great. Definitely want to see him, because I got to tell you, man, that dude's it's funny, because he was on the show yesterday and he was talking about his first match in OCCW. That was before my surgery, and I was really hurting. So I came to help out, and I was watching the show. I got to ring the bell, by the way. No, that's when I was sweeping the ring, and they started throwing money in the ring.
And by the way, you did a good job.
Thank you. Well, it's in the blood, man. Yeah. But anyways, I was watching the match in the Battle Royal. People are just kind of, fighting and stuff. And Heidi was hitting Ravenclaw with some punches in the corner over there. All of a sudden, Mariachi Loco comes in. He turns, and I thought he took Heidi's head off. He came in and boom, baka, and everybody kind of not that they were sleeping. Everybody went, holy shit! I mean, he really. I mean, dude, I thought he took her head. I almost got And then after that, it was just one after the other, and then he got thrown out. But anyway, so he didn't really get to shine as much as he can. But that dude's seriously coming to the forefront.
Who was the smart ass that decided to call me while I'm on the air? Hold on. Unlike you
guys,
I'm not going to pretend it's nobody.
It's probably Miguel.
Hold on. Is it Miguel?
I guarantee it.
It is Rand Al-Husari. Hold on. One of my students. Hold on. This is
a cool girl.
Hello?
Oh, it's a girl?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Rand is a cool girl.
Can you tell that you're live on the air now,
Oh, she won her dual wrestling match tonight. Congratulations, Rand Al-Husari. We're on the podcast. We're live on the air.
Who did she wrestle for?
What school did you wrestle for? Cypress.
Cypress. Did she win by pin or by points?
Did you pin? All right, good. Nice. I'm going to call you back after this. Congratulations.
To ask her if anybody filmed it, we'd like to see it.
Did anybody film it? We want to see it. I don't got time to hear about all that. I'll call you back tonight, all right, sweetheart?
That's cool.
Congratulations.
All right, good job.
Good job from all of us. All right. Hey, look us up on Free Admission TV.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, bye.
Okay, we got a bunch of stuff here.
Go for it,
I love
Robert.
that she
All right, let's
called
hear it, Robert.
Robert,
I
our
love it.
producer, go ahead.
Producer
Robert.
Robert.
John Wade, I didn't drop that promo yet, and that's from Gio Mendez.
Okay, that's Bully Zone.
Yeah,
and
Bully Zone. Okay,
Christina
Gio.
Nicole says, I want tickets.
I have them.
Who is it?
Christina Nicole.
Oh, okay. Christina Nicole would totally.
We got you, baby.
Man. Come down Delo Jiu
Okay,
Jitsu.
now
I got them here. You can come here to the podcast. I give it to you right now.
Come to Delo Jiu Jitsu.
Right now, baby.
Next
Go
level
for it.
sports. Come on down.
Okay, Nora Ortega says
My good friend Nora.
she's crying laughing. Jeanette Rodriguez says she's enjoying the show.
Nice.
Jeanette Rodriguez, love you. Thank you for enjoying the show. Which part do you like? Me? You like me the most?
And then Gio Mendez says he wants to share a video with you guys.
Hey, we ain't making no custom videos for you, Gio Mendez.
Yes.
And,
And I'm not sharing Fabi with anybody.
Thank you.
Go
Guy
ahead.
Cool is watching.
Oh,
Yeah?
cool.
Hey, guy, cool. We're waiting on that promo. We only got like 10 days to the show.
Dude,
Keep it up.
cut that promo, and I think Azrael and Guy Cool might even be the sleeper.
If this was FCW, it'd be out already, right?
Oh, yeah. Good point. Hey,
And
yeah.
Brian Chansey says he already has his tickets.
Brian Chansey is the man. He is I'm gonna go on record right now as saying he is OCCW's numero uno fan.
And he also says meow.
See,
Yeah.
they love those felines, man. I don't know what it is. I think it's and those guys.
Let me tell you, aside from being great wrestlers, they are really cool
and
cats.
and very professional.
I agree.
Those guys, even though
Yeah.
they came up short against us, Alex and I, they were really cool. They wrapped up their little mask and everything. They wanted me to sit there, put the towel over their face, and they said thank you, and then they walked off. Very, very professional.
Awesome
And then
guys.
I can't forget, but Arturo said that you're his oldest friend.
Arturo, yeah.
Arturo Ramos.
And he asked if you need a personal EMT for your
Definitely.
You know what? I tell him that every time, and he never shows up. All right, you know what? Don't tell me you're my oldest personal friend if you don't come to the show when you say you're going to come to the show. Come to the show.
You're his oldest English-speaking friend.
Come
Yeah.
What do you need? What do you need, bro? I'm a purchasing agent. I'll get you the scissors, the whatever you need, man. Stitchings,
Those
stuff like
long-
that.
those
Steri
long
strips.
Q-tips with the big old
yeah,
things
got
at the end.
them all. Yeah, no
Those are
problem.
good.
So we'll bring
Those
them.
work.
We'll get you all taken care of. So definitely look forward to the show. It's always a good time. The people rave about the food, the meatball sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
that's my mom's deal. Yeah.
The last show we had at 555 Westminster, whatever. We all went and got a meatball sandwich. That was the first time I got time to sit down and talk to
I'm going to
him.
start charging you people
Human
for those,
Tornado for a while. He could not finish that. It took him almost an
He
hour
would have
and
doubled
a half.
his weight, that skinny bastard.
Hour and a half to finish half of a meatball sandwich.
I don't have that problem.
Yeah, it's odd because that guy's in the perpetual munchies stage.
Yes.
He's always got the munchies
Yes,
because
but he
always smell like a reggae
It just
concert.
it took him forever to finish that. I was just like, dude, I finished mine an hour ago. And he's like, yeah, bro. But anyways, definitely look forward to checking out the show. Real quick for the people that are watching us and listening to us on the Free Admission channel, don't forget, it's Orange County Championship Wrestling Cage Match. It's going to be Saturday, the January 27th at the American Legion Post 716 in Los Alamitos. It's always a good time.
And contrary to what you may have heard, everybody is not going to be somewhere else.
Yes, everybody will be there, definitely. So we definitely look forward to that. To the Raza, be prepared, man, because we got special something for you that night. Good luck to you in your match because you're going to need it. Sexy Chino, thank you for stepping
Tony
up to the
Reyes
plate.
gonna break you down like third grade math.
I saw Tony working out the other day, and I talked to him, and he's like, you know what, this is actually the first time I'm really getting ready to go because I know Delo's got stamina, but he's gonna
Ask your old lady.
I got something for him. He's gonna be met in the stamina stage or whatever. So he says he can go. bro.
Stomp
So
you like a burnt
we'll see
Marlboro.
what happens? Let me tell you something. When I fought Tony in the cage,
Hold on a second. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I went to try to flip him, and he he kind of lifted his head, and I went over him, and he landed on me, and not even full weight, just the side. Oh my God! It felt like those wrecking balls that go. Boom,
Yeah.
And it was full air, and I was, holy shift! So
Shit you guys do
You
just
gotta
cracks me
move
up.
and not let them hit you with that weight.
Let me do this, all right? Because we've been talking about wrestling and Dondo's been so silent. John Arredondo, you've probably been to more OCCW
a
matches
lot of
than any other
to a lot.
both fighting and wrestling show ever. Okay, when people say to you, when you tell people, "Hi dude, I can't make it. I'm going to my friend's wrestling show." All right? What is your response to you when they say, "Oh, that shit's fake"?
Well, people do understand that I train under John Delo, and John is a serious fighter, and they don't take the OCCW necessarily as seriously.
Right. Of
Because
course
you're
not.
either a fight fan or you're a wrestling fan. Very few are both.
Right.
Well, I think there's a lot of wrestling fans that are fight fans, but very few fight fans are wrestling fans.
Yeah, and I think people know me from my training with you, so they don't know exactly what to expect from that. But I've explained that Jonathan Malice is a character of his own.
Yes,
and he's quite hilarious, and these matches are legitimate.
But it's different when you go.
Well, I've learned. I really didn't know. I
really
didn't know till I went. So now I've known and grown and understand, and I know the guys individually, and I get a kick out of it.
Once you realize that nobody's trying to pull the wool over your eyes, and you are allowed to release your what's the word I'm looking for?
It's the theatrics, and it's they're in character, and it's hilarious,
and it's a good time, and there's a lot of oh my moments, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
and
I want to jump out of my skin because if you just complete a series of takedowns that John has taught us throughout the years, your bones hurt. These crazy, whats, are throwing each other. Yeah, the bumps are incredible, and there's something you don't come back from.
And then you throw the cage in there. It's
Both of these gentlemen have brand new hips. I don't ever want to experience that.
Well, yes. Hey, that's right. Hey, we got between the two of us, we got two good.
These guys won't make it through an airport.
Yeah.
I want to breeze by.
I have an X-ray of mine that I have to show when I go through, but
I can't imagine the size of that.
It's huge. It's a different ballgame, especially when the cage. Go ahead, Robert.
We got a video sent to us by Bully Zone corrected.
That's Gio Mendez. All right, let's see it.
Hit it.
You put it up behind us?
Are you able to put it up?
Gio, I don't like bullies very much. I don't care if you're
and especially
bully
in the zone,
bully Ray, or a bully Pulpet. All right, I will tell you thank you.
Real quick, we're running up against
for
the clock
supporting
too,
after
OCW.
This,
we got to wrap it up because we're Mexican. They'll throw us out of here. Last time they turned out the lights in the parking lot, remember?
Yeah, it looks like they took it.
Like
they give a damn. I drive through that parking lot. There's nowhere to park.
No.
Everyone's parking on the goddamn stupid friggin' red. Sorry,
get us in trouble.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why they didn't only play the quarter.
Well, let me tell you something. You mix soccer with Mexicans, there's going to be no parking. Then you throw a taco truck in the mix.
That's
there's definitely not going to be
those
any parking.
Those are wonderful tacos.
Are they? Oh,
I absolutely adore them.
I recommend the tacos, but the horchata, I saw the guy mixing it with his hand, so you might want to.
He tosses the salad with his feet.
You might want to stray away from that. But anyways, while we're waiting to see if Robert can pull up the video, for the people listening to us, don't forget, check it out. It's OCCW cage match. It's Saturday, the 27th. Not this Saturday. This Saturday we will be at NutriShop in Long Beach.
Bellflower and Spring.
Yeah, make sure you check that out. I put up the flyer on my Facebook page. Make sure you check it out. Yeah, it's right. It's NutriShop Long Beach. It's going to be this Saturday, the 20th, from 11 to 1 o'clock. Everybody's going to be there. I got confirmation that most of the OCCW wrestlers are going to be there, so you can see them in person. We're going to play some chop trivia. I got some mixed martial arts fighters coming down.
We got fighters from the LAPD.
I even got some bodybuilders that are coming down. Let's see if they might want to play some chop trivia, and we'll chop them instead of giving somebody else a chop.
It's been my experience that bodybuilders don't like people putting their hands on them.
I agree 100%, but maybe we'll have one. So definitely want to check us out this Saturday, the 20th, at NutriShop in Long Beach. Make sure you come check us out. All the
NutriShop in Long Beach. What are the cross streets there?
It's
Bellflower and Spring, right?
Yeah,
across
Bellflower and
from
Spring.
Okay, Bellflower and Spring.
Caddy corner to the 24-hour fitness.
Cal Worthington, if you can see him, just look across the street. We're right there.
That's
and his dog spot.
And you can make a whole day. There's a nail shop right next to it. If you want to get a mani pedi.
Yeah.
There's a Burger King next to that.
Bobby does paint his nails.
Across the street, there's a Carl's Jr.
Black.
There's a Starbucks.
How do you make it?
There's a Papa John's.
How do you make a whole day of nothing but restaurants? Oh my God!
You can go eat lunch, come back, check out the show.
You spend the whole day in the bathroom after eating. Yeah.
Whatever it takes. But what I'm saying is we can fulfill everybody's needs. If you need coffee, if you need everything, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's definitely check it out.
You go to Kmart for half the day.
That's what. See, you can go check out the bargains.
There's a Lowe's across the street.
There's still a Kmart?
Or something.
Hey, they're closing down the Sam's Club over down the way there.
They're closing down a lot of stuff. Go ahead, Robert.
There it is.
He's with the one and only OCCW Tag Team Champion, Freddie Flores.
That's right, Joe.
Is that right, John?
That was good. That was
right
good. Oh, wait.
It's a cool logo behind him.
Apparently, what you said was cute.
I agree.
Truth be told, you're not worth my time, so I didn't hear it. But apparently, you got retaliation against La Raza, the group that brought your daughter to OCCW, the group that's a tag team champions. Without you, one, I didn't need you to be a tag team champion. Two, we don't need you to win. And three, I'm going to say it in Spanish so you can understand it. Si te metes con nosotros, te vamos a partir la madre. Umaga was dead before it even started. Check it.
That was some kind of Puerto Rican Spanish?
That was beautiful. That was just very well put together. But anyways, to Freddie Flores and to your bodyguard there, or whatever, I will concede and say, yes, you are, and I will have nothing to do with you. How about that? I won't come after your belts. Because I can build my own people my own way. I'm bringing in a lot of beans from Mexico, some luchadores with the mask on, so I have no problem completely straying away. Don't have to worry about the belts. But if you do grow a set of
Pelotas?
Yes, and would like to see what I'm all about, I'll be more than happy to take that on. So no problem. Congratulations.
And if it will make me money, I will book it.
Absolutely. If we can start selling some plátano frito or whatever in the snack bar
some jarritos
to get those people in, I'll be more than happy to be with that. But absolutely no problem. Go on and enjoy your tag team belts. I'm going to move in another direction. I'm going to go over this way and start bringing in some serious beans. It's not MAGA, it's MAGA. Mexicans aren't going away. Okay? I've been told we got to make sure we say that because we don't want any
MAGA? Like, yes, is it MAGA. Like Make America Great Again?
Exactly. Go
Mexicans
ahead, Robert.
aren't going away?
You have some thoughts on that? I believe you do, Robert. I believe you want to say that King Favi is his own entity and that he will surpass any sort of raza or whatever. Go ahead, Robert.
I'll agree with that statement. I'll agree with that statement. Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
Robert, are there any more questions on the little thing?
Are we good? We good to go? Because we got to.
No, because I like talking. I was a half hour late. If you notice,
just Brian says he got Burger King coupons.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, you tell Brian to bring them by.
And I do have some news. I didn't know when to break it. It's related to free admission as a whole.
To what? Free admission.
Okay. We did gain a new correspondent. A web correspondent. His name is Adam Woods.
Adam Woods. Oh, yeah, I know.
So now he is a part of free admission. But don't get confused with full contact finance. That's separate. Yeah. But I mean, as he's joining the free admission family, he will be doing all the interviews that he does normally, but he'll be pushing it on YouTube.
Interviews does he usually do?
He does mixed martial arts and pro wrestling. So he sits right in between.
Straddles that fence.
Yeah, because he goes to pretty much everything.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy is...
Well, how come he hasn't been to our show? Is he coming to our show? You still got to buy a ticket.
I will still talk.
Adam Wood. Buy 2 tickets.
I'll have to drive to Van Nuys and bring him back, but yeah.
Oh, he doesn't have a car?
No, he does.
What is he, 12?
No. He's
You don't have a car, do you?
We look forward to working together and helping out and everything like that. We're getting this free admission. Getting this free admission out there. As my friend Dondo to my left can attest to, it is a struggle to get where we're trying to get to. So
you'll get there.
You've been in the mixed martial arts business for quite some time.
Before it was mixed martial arts.
Oh my goodness, and it is a struggle. It is a struggle.
Here's the thing, Fabi. Do you remember what I told you long ago when you were having trouble getting those big names on your show?
You know what? I guarantee you will catch them on the way down.
Yep.
And I have caught many a person.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people that call them and they go, "Oh no, you got to talk to my agent." And then about 2 years later, you still got that show? I would like to promote my gym. And it was spot on, dude. I mean, it's true. We some people, no problem, dude. They come on. Some people, kind of stray away. But on the way back down, hey, man, how about we get this guy
Everybody
on or
wants
whatever.
to be your friend.
It is. And I have no problem with doing that. Go ahead, Robert.
Speaking of guests, if you guys are a fan of mixed martial arts in the UFC, we will be having the immortal Matt Brown calling on the show on the Monday show about 8:15.
We had Sarah McMahon on last Monday show. She called in. She's got a big fight coming up in February. They changed her opponent. So we talked about it because she was doing really well, and she won her last 2 with the clock choke,
right,
a head and arm choke. Mm-hmm. I mean, once she started turning into that side, boom, done.
Right.
2 wins like that.
And she got her arm broke, right?
No, that's Paige Van Zandt.
Oh.
But she fought her last fight and ended up getting submitted with the head and arm choke. But she got caught against the cage and she couldn't get out. So she kind of
that happens.
Yeah, so she talked about that, former Olympic wrestler.
Oh, by the way, I heard the rumor that next week you guys were going to have Rose Namajunas on your show.
Yes, she's coming on. Rose, and she's bringing her full entourage.
Oh, good deal.
So we will definitely look forward to talking to her. I seriously thought she was going to get killed in her last fight. I thought Joanna Jędrzejczyk was going to completely destroy her.
Yeah, and it takes a lot for someone as jaded and bitter as me to stand up and cheer watching a fight.
We'll watch that together.
Yeah, but that moved me to no end. It made me feel proud once again. That whole card, that was a 2-0 something, made me proud again to be part of MMA. In the past, I've seen some of those UFC shows, and I'm like, oh God, God. I know, and people go, "Oh, you do that cage fighting stuff like in the UFC." I'm like, "Well,
yeah, well, we do, but
yeah." But after that, I was for a moment anyway, for a little while, I was proud to be a part of MMA, and then and then Dana White starts talking.
Yeah,
and
you have your days. Some days, man, and some days like, God dang it. But anyways, for the people listeners, don't forget, big King of the Cage coming up on February 24th. Our man Elijah Perez is gonna. When I announced him, and I was like, Elijah Perez, and I looked at him, he's like, hey. So he's
the whitest Perez you'll ever see.
Yeah, he's got his big fight coming up, and you come out and support. That dude works hard, man. I mean, he's working a job, and he's training, and he's making sure. Yeah, he definitely want to come out and support him. Big fight coming up at King of the Cage, and don't forget Orange County Championship Wrestling cage match. It's going to be Saturday, the 27th of January. It's going to be at American Legion Post 716 in Los Alamitos. Make sure you come down, check it out. And also, don't forget,
tickets on sale.
Big live broadcast this Saturday from NutriShop in Long Beach. It's going to be from 11 to 1 o'clock. Got all the wrestlers from OCCW coming down. You can check them out in person. If Rudy can't make it, can we still get the belt up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you come, because people like to see that belt.
Bring the tag team belts.
You know what I mean? They say, oh, wow. Hey, then bring the tag team belts. Raza, more than welcome to come down, get your stuff out there, whatever. I'll see you in person. We'll see what you actually say to my face, then on video or whatever. But I have no problem with you guys continuing on. If you think that somebody else can get you to the promised land, go right ahead, man.
They're already at the promised land. They climbed over that fence.
More power to you, my man, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I know what'll get you. I was just fully prepared to have...
Let me just say this, okay?
To have
this man wrestled John Cena when he was the prototype.
Yes.
This man was a tag team champion with Samoa Joe.
Right.
All right? Now, he and I have had our differences in the past, and we'll continue to have them in the future.
Right.
But to turn your back on this man is well.
But see, that's what I talked about in the promo too. I said, everybody knows that Malice and I have heat, but he knows if this is what we need, to get these people in, let's do this and all that, and we consult them because we're all trying to. The main goal here is to have a good show and bring in a lot of people so that everybody can get paid. So that's why we work together and make sure we get it out.
I'm not yawning at you.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Bring them down. I have no problem putting anybody on. Anybody, if you want to come down, if you're smart enough to come down and promote your stuff, please come to the live show. It's this Saturday, the 20th. It's at NutriShop in Long Beach. Make sure you come down.
Do you have a flyer for that so I can hold it up?
The OCCW wrestlers will be there. Got some MMA fighters that are going to come down. We got some bodybuilders that are going to come down from Metroflex Gym. So definitely want to come down and check it out. And don't forget, King of the Cage. Got to support my man Elijah Perez, man. He came. It was funny because they go, Elijah's, dude, he's so quiet. I said, yeah, but I could talk for double for him or whatever.
I can talk and I can't get a word in edgewise.
When it's something that you know about, he was able to talk because we talked about liver kicks and stuff like that. And he
well, you know what?
Totally down.
It's not that he doesn't talk; it's just he doesn't talk without having something to say. Right. And he's 20 years old, 21. He just turned 21, so he'll talk when you ask him a question. He's actually pretty witty.
I just gave him the ball and he ran with it.
Yeah,
you know what? Everything he did say was impactful.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. And he talked a lot about training with you, and he said, he gives me a lot of stuff.
He's there every day, twice a day.
That I can use. That's it's not, a flying squirrel and all this stuff. It's just stuff that we can use. It's geared towards fighting. Jiu-jitsu is geared towards this or whatever. So it was very insightful when we had him on here. So we definitely look forward to his fight. So for the people listening to us on the Free Admission channel, make sure you check us out Monday from 8 to 9:30 on the Free Admission channel. Definitely got to check that out. Don't forget Gym Crashers. These guys have been going out. Let me tell you something. I went with these guys to Gym Crashers. We got there at 6 and we were there till almost midnight.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you get the interviews and
you crash it out.
Yeah,
Gym
man, it takes a lot
crashing
to get
in
that
the gym.
out there. So, and also don't forget Della O Jiu-Jitsu. If you want to check them out, give them that address real quick.
8381 Catella Avenue, Unit J. That's the Della O Training Center. We are your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, gi and no gi, boxing, and Muay Thai.
If you want to check it out, make sure you do. You can call 714-527-1845 and get some information. Come down, check out the training. It's great, man. We appreciate you coming down, taking the time to talk about all this stuff because you got so much going on.
Cage Match 2.
So make sure you check it out. And don't forget, this Saturday, live broadcast from NutriShop in Long Beach. Make sure you come down. Everybody's going to be there so you can see us all in person. So with all that being said, Robert, get us the heck out of here. And thank you to John Dello for coming down.
And thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm really sorry I was late. I wasn't really late. I came at the time I thought I was supposed to be here. Actually, I thought I came a half hour early.
It happens, but
it happens to Robert every time there's an OCCW.
Oh, yeah, and now he knows how it feels.
Robert, get us out of here. We'll see everybody Monday, and we'll see you Saturday.
Good night. All right, I didn't know I was going to go on this as usual, so thank you.